Hello and welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to go over how I designed and carved these bow knives. I used Bamex wood and I got these blades off Amazon. I did two designs. Got a left-handed and a right-handed model. Stay tuned and I'll show you how I designed and carved these out. Alright, diving right into the design part. Let's get some inspiration first. I'm going to go online and I'm going to look at different bow knives. And we can grab any of these images to pattern our design after. But let's see if there's any SVGs already out there. Anytime I'm looking for images, I always go to the images tab. That'll bring up all the images. Then I go to tools, I go to size, and I'll click large. So now I'm looking at larger images. Gives you a better quality image to trace if you're going to try to trace something. You can also go to Pinterest. Well, this one popped up. And this is a lower quality, so let's go ahead and grab this one just to show you can use lower quality images too. I'm just going to copy that image. We're going to create our file. We're going to make it 16 inches wide, 8 inches tall, and I'm using Bamex. That's 1 inch thick material. And we are going from the material surface, not the machine bed. Now I'm just going to have to control. I'm going to hold control and press C to dump that image in here that I copied straight out of the website. Now we know this is going to be approximate size, so I'm just going to line it up and scale it up. Alright, one thing you can do is go over to the trace image tool. Drop that down to 2 colors. Let's select the black. Preview and apply. Let's see what that looks like. We'll close that. Get our image out of the way. Let's ungroup this. Get rid of all this other stuff we don't need. And we only want one vector. So I'm actually just going to look at this. I'm going to choose the one that looks nicest and get rid of the other one. So in this case, the inside vector looked nicer. So sometimes you can get away with something as simple as that. Now we know these two surfaces need to be parallel. So I'm going to use the edge of my material to line that up. I'm going to go into my nodes and see all these nodes I get. When you do a trace, see all these nodes you get? And they're all, well, not all of them. That one right there's a smooth node. Most of them are straight nodes. That's a smooth node. That's why this one arced. These two are straight nodes, so they won't arc. If you try to pull that line up, it'll add a new node and you'll just end up with a V. But I like creating designs with as few nodes as possible. So I'll end up going through here and selecting a lot of these and just deleting them. I put these two right against the edge of the material. You know they'll match up when you're ready to put the blade on. Select it too. There. There. That looks better. Now, let's select all these and hit the S key. Make that a smooth node. See, my handle shape popped right back out. And if it doesn't, that's okay. This is purely aesthetic. You can come around here and manipulate this shape any way you want. Now, if you think this might look a little short, we can scoop this whole thing down a little bit. I can just grab these 3 nodes and pull them out to make this handle a little bit longer. Like I said, this is purely aesthetic. And you still have your reference photo over here. Got to get out of node mode before you can select it. And you can have your reference photo even behind your vector to try to help keep you in line a little bit. We have a bitmap layer that we can turn on and off if you want it on for visual guidance, or if you're done with it, you can just turn it off. These 2 I do want smooth. Give this more of an arc. This is almost straight. It's not going to have a very big arc. The longer your handle is, the more arc you have. Since that's not going to need that much of an arc, I want this handle really short. So I'm going to bring it right down here close to the node. I might even bring it up just a little bit. Give that backbone some beef. I want a good arc here, so I'm going to pull this handle up a little bit. There. Now, we probably want a 1/2 inch circle here, maybe. I think it might be a little bit too big. You can just scale it down. I held control. Lightburn, you hold control. Vectric, you're supposed to hold shift to scale that down. There's our first knife. Alright, according to the Amazon listing, I got 4 of these knives for $10. And my knives that are coming are 10 inches, almost 11 inches, 10.8 inches. So I'm just going to draw me a rectangle. I'm going to make it 10.8 inches. We're just going to see how that lines up. And that looks pretty good. There'll be a screw hole in each end. I'll have to pre-drill a little bitty hole in the handle to mount this blade. Let's see, what other style do they have? I'm scrolling through right now looking for a different style. Let's check this out. Copy image. Control V. And there's no use in reinventing the wheel. We've already got it designed. This is just to give us some inspiration. So let's get that out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to do one similar to this right here. So in this case, I'm just going to copy that. We can actually get rid of that. We don't need 2 blades. To make sure that's perfectly straight, I'm going to draw me another rectangle. And we'll do the same thing for the top side. There. But first thing I want to do is make this little hole here. So let's grab us a circle and see how big it needs to be. Control C, Control V. That looks good. Line. Another line. Scissors. I think that looks good. Now to make our arcs here, I'm just going to make a circle and make sure they're just overlapping the rectangle. And I'll Control C and Control V and move that down. I'm holding my arrow key. Make sure it's just overlapping. Now, go get my scissors. I'm just going to trim these corners off. I'm going to move this up here. I'm going to come right here. I'm going to add another node right here. I'm going to add another node right here. I'm going to bring that straight up. Just like that. We'll make that a smooth node. And that'll give it a little heel right there for the blade. I want this line to stay straight, so I made this smooth instead of making this smooth. That gives me this to play with. Alright, I think I got two designs. This, we're just going to go ahead and make a pocket. Use some BAM-X so it's 1 inch. We're not using a bowl bit. Move the bowl bit and get us a down cut. Or let's just use a beast. I use the beast for about everything. So now we've got a hole for our string. I want a big old piece of wood. Now we're just going to do some profiles. I'm going to make sure to use a ramp. That's pocket. Get out of here. Profiles. I'm going to add tabs and I want to be sure to use a ramp. Let's edit some tabs in here. I don't need but 2 here. I don't need but a couple. That ought to be good. I still got a freaking open vector somewhere. Vector validator. Let's go to my 2D view. 2D view. In 2D, let's look at our vector validator. One opened. Go ahead and join that. There we go. I like the beast and all. I'm not about to do that. I'm going to do 5 passes just to be on the safe side. There. That's 1 inch material. Did I not have? I know I put, because it was open vector. My tabs didn't stay put. That should be good. Always check your preview. Undo last. Now I got some tabs. Now I got some 3D tabs. You just got to make sure your 3D tabs are big enough to hold your work. But I like it because it don't stop the bit, come up, come over, back down, and start cutting again. It actually makes the cut just a little bit faster. And it reduces some bit deflection. Alright, let's cut these out and see what they look like. Alright, I got a piece of Bamex here I'm going to run this project with. I only made one project out of this. Well, actually, I made two projects. I made a little bottle opener, and then I made a sign. There we go. Okay, everybody, short as everything. I forgot to hit the record button as I was cutting these things out. So I've already got them cut out, sanded down, and I've used butcher block conditioner on them just to oil them down. I got this 3-pack of blades off Amazon. Them are like $9 or something like that. It's extremely cheap. All right, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do because I need a set of third hands. I'm going to clamp this in place. So I'm going to set this up against my fence. I'm just going to wedge my scrap wood up against it and hold it tight. Right down into my spoil board, just like it was a piece of stock. There. Well, ball over drill. Now I can slip this in and out, but it won't go from side to side. It's got it tight. Right now you need to figure out whether you want this left-handed or right-handed. I'm right-handed, so I want the back of the knife going to my right, so when I'm cutting a loaf of bread, I'm cutting off a little slice. Because that blade is going to rest against here. That's going to give you that area right there to slice your bread. Now if you're left-handed, you might want your bread going this way, so you flip your blade the other way. My wife is left-handed, so I'll make one of them left-handed, I guess. And I guess it'll be this one. She's left-handed, so yeah. Let's put this in and let's face this blade towards me. Put that down right there. Grab one of my little screws. Grab my little screwdriver. There we go. having it clamped in there makes it a lot easier. There we go. Don't forget, these blades are super sharp. Okay. Y'all let me know what you think about my bow knives. See, I got a left-handed and a right-handed version. This is the right-handed and this will be the left-handed. So I can cut it coming and going. What do you think? Alright. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all stay tuned and I'll show you how I designed this breadboard to go along with it. After I show you how I got this designed up, we're going to carve it out of BAM X2 so we can have these put together. Alright, y'all have a good one. Thank you for watching.